Hello there, my friends, and welcome. This is Kate in the Nest. It's Friday afternoon, and thanks for joining me. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I'm just saying good day from down under. And why am I saying that? Because I'm still pinching myself that I'm home, that I had that wonderful adventure, and here I am in my nest looking out at the blue sky and the sunshine and feeling very grateful. So I thought I'd show you my journal jacket today because I was actually wearing this on the plane home exactly a week ago. So I wore it Dallas to New York, New York to Auckland, and Auckland to Sydney. And I got lots of comments. So I don't know about you if you've um, made wearables before. Are they conversation starters? I actually think that's the best part of it because people say, did you do that yourself? You go, yes. They go, we've got a jacket like that at home. You've given us an idea. And it just starts lovely conversations. So I have my needle here in the sleeve. So I thought as I just did the intro, I get stitching because sometimes lately I've just been talking all the time and not doing much stitching. So if you haven't caught up with this, I think I showed it, I don't know whether I've showed it once or twice, but she's had some renovations. So basically this is a pure lambswool men's jacket, quite large. I didn't even look at the size, like when you see fabric and you know that it's well tailored, I just grabbed it. And the story is that I got it for $1. So, in terms of sustainability and telling stories, like that's the big story that I was telling. And I'm calling it a journal jacket because I love the story, and I know you love stories as well. And everything that we do, everywhere we go, adds to our own stories. So, this one is full of pieces that I have collected in my latest trip. So if you are working on something like this, I hope you're having as much fun as I am. It's just a bit tricky because I better just check. Yeah, my gosh, like the desk is crazy, and I'll get to all the other bits that you can see. I just thought I'd better finish this needle bit off because it's a beautiful day and it feels like spring is in the air. We've got sort of like crisp but warm, if you know what that is. My husband has just suggested that we have an outdoor fire tonight, which is one of my favorite things to do. There's only a window where it's not too cold and not too hot outside, just like the Three Bears. And tonight I love doing it on the weekend because for me that symbolizes, we haven't got time during the week, but it just celebrates and welcomes the weekend in. So, yeah, what are you up to? Have you got plans for the weekend? Is it busy? Or, look, I have to say thank you. As I said that, a number of you have been messaging me about having sickness and illnesses in your own lives or in your family's lives. So I just want to pause and say, if you're not well, I'm really glad that you found YouTube and the community, not just on my channel, but where people can keep you company. That's one of the most beautiful things that see. Sorry. I've in my enthusiasm, I've been chatting, and what I was about to say, it's awkward to do the sleeves because they're skinny, and there are ways around that, and I haven't done that before, but in my excitement to chat, I've got myself dangled up. Actually, I like changing colours, and so that is enough of that one for me. The needle is out, and it gives me an opportunity to show you. So this is the right sleeve, and I've now put piece B to this house. I was gifted this doily from Kiki in Wisconsin, and this part is the inside of the larger doily that had been washed and the wool had shrunk. So you can see here that it's almost felted. But I like that. I don't think I was up to filling it in the last time I showed you. So here is a beautiful embroidery that I've used on the Texas pouch as well. And this was from Jen's booth at, what was her store called? Simply Irresistible in Waco. How's that for a good name of a spot? So Jen had a store with vintage bits. I bought that. So that's the center. Here's another little embroidery that I got somewhere on my travels. It was had a crocheted edge, so I've kept that little bit on there. So I need to do some color, add in over the top and get rid of the white. But I'm quite happy with that shape. I haven't completely put it down because I may be putting something underneath it. But I like that as a boom moment on the back. I've just showed you this sleeve where those two pieces are going together, and this will give the impression, this bit under here, of a like a, you know, like, oh, like that. The bottom of this sleeve still says Saturday because it's always a happy, smiley day. I took off some of that and I have ideas for this cuff. So that's right and back. I did originally have, oh, see, I've got, it's handy, isn't it? Just sticks to the wool. I did have a big bit of lace, a big hangy thing on this right pocket, and I've taken it off. I like asymmetrical, and it was just too, well, for the moment it was too much there. So instead I've combined it on this other pocket. So I don't know whether I showed you that. That is from Krista in Wisconsin, and I seed stitched, and this was the piece of it's sort of a great combination of crochet and fabric textile that I got from also the Vintage Mall. So I put them together and I've deliberately left that like a little frill. So work to be done, and I do need to pick up some of these other colours. So that is the left lower pocket. Right shoulder is where, if you saw my other video, previous one, this is where we had the Michael Jackson long fringe. Practicality was that on the plane, using seat belts, putting my camera strap over there, it just was getting stuck the entire time. So if we're doing our wearables, we also need to be functional and as well as beauty conscious. So I left her rough, but the little squiggles that used to go, you know, and naturally they were coming down almost over the top of this doily. So I'm honouring. So Shelby, you are still with me, but just the long Michael Jacksons have gone. This is one of my favourite parts of the coat so far. I have this beautiful textile that I got in, I don't know, in Waco, gifted, part of the stash, not sure. And I do know that Shelby gifted me this needlepoint type tapestry. So I put them together and I'm having fun with fluoro up there. So that's the right shoulder. So if I was to slip this sleeve on, so we've got that at the top, we've got this around, and we've got the Saturday. So at this moment, I'm not actually worrying too much about the colours, like, and making them all belong together. I'm just going, as I always do, with my heart, beautiful pieces, putting them where I think, and then we'll worry about, you know, matching them up a little bit later. So that brings me to, originally I had a Canada sleeve, which was my left sleeve, and I have taken the pieces off that. So that is plain. Almost, I like to do both sleeves. But I wasn't comfortable with where that was started, so I've left that. And so I've moved Nancy's beautiful swan to the breast pocket, the left. There she is, a little bit of fluoro. I think I might colour her in, just so that her head it's more clear that she's a swan from a distance. And then this lapel, which is where I started, is really starting to be a garden. So I've added the butterfly across the strawberry. I had the little St. Catherine's bit in here, like a rosette. But again, that wasn't being honoured enough. So I've got to do something special. That's, yay. Brittany's mum's gift to me that says St. Catherine's, which is where I was in Canada. So that's tucking in there. And we'll have a special place. So opportunities in here. Here's another needlepoint. There is that Kiki's dress? Yes. And then just before we filmed, I came across this. And that's representing for me the yellow roses of Texas. So I'm thinking that that might be, you know, the next journey up the lapel. So I could pause and say, what do you think of that? So I'm just going to pause and chop. I don't want all the edges to go over the jacket, but who am I kidding? It will go over anyway. I love that I've actually used this piece on another work and taken it off. You can see the little bits of threads. They're looking like Martian antennas up there. Now, I feel she sort of needs to nestle there, which means if I'd thought ahead, I would have not put that. So I think we have to lose some of the leaf. So let's start. Always just see if you can follow the curve and honour the shape that's there rather than doing a straight cut. I think we might do that. It doesn't matter to me that I lose some of that flower because flower to flower. What about a position like that? And I think I'll harvest a little bit more of this cream, although I do like how the cream of that talks to this. And of course we'll do tea staying and, you know, all of that other stuff eventually. As I said, I'm not really worrying too much about, and you have to accept that when you use a whole variety of textiles and textures and widths and weights, that it won't look like they belong. And that's my whole thing. Oh, I need a little bit in there. Can you tell I'm happy? And I hope you can pick up and have some of my happiness too if you need it. The other night when I was filming, I was sad because I was talking to you about Dolly Parton passing that very day, and I was starting my new quilt, and I have had it suggested to me that why don't I call my new quilt the Dolly? Because I had the Betty, and yeah, I'm toying with that idea because that would be remembering that beautiful lady. And it's amazing, isn't it? We have to sometimes wait till someone passes to know all that they did because we read more and probably are more interested. But what about her imagination library? I was telling my mum last night, Mum knew that Dolly had been very generous, and I said, giving children books for free, like, it makes my heart sing, like, and that she felt so strongly that was the bridge to that, education is the bridge, but as well being literate. And I think she said her father could not read. That mean maybe I don't know that for sure, but I think I watched a little bit. So beautiful soul and lots of butterflies. So that's why I've got that butterfly there. And here we go up to the top of the lapel, growing our garden. So we're just going to start somewhere. I think I've mentioned before that this lambswool. I did stitch it on the plane, but it, like, whenever I can have it in my hands and be stitching, it is just like a blessing. It feels so beautiful because none of the blankets that I actually am working on are this fine. So remember, that's what we've got to keep our eyes peeled out for, alternative things to think of to get beautiful underneath textiles. I'm a bit ravey, aren't I? Just having a chat with you, my friends. What's happened since I filmed the other day? Gee, that quilt block has gone fast. I won't be able to limit myself to one a week. I'll start another one over the weekend because just adoring having a big piece under my fingers. What was I about to say? Oh yeah, I did need to go to Canberra yesterday and get a replacement laptop because the one that I travelled with, and they looked it up in the store, and it's been 3 years now. I know 3 years doesn't sound like a long time, but I have travelled, like when it's my travelling office, so that little laptop had done a lot of presentations, a lot of conferences, a lot of admin work. So her brain is fine and I've got access to all the documents. I just can't see them because the screen is black. So I bought another little one, littler and less expensive, and we'll try that out. So why I was because I did that, I went to the Apple store, and then I thought, well, while I'm here, I wasn't particularly in a shopping mood because I feel so satiated and satisfied from everything that I was able to do in the States. But I did go to Dirty Jane's in Canberra because literally I could sort of go past it on my way home. And I just wanted to see whether they had any blankets or anything that I needed. I've got some workshops coming up the week after next, is it? So I've got Stitch Fest at Green Door, where I'm doing Art on Your Heart, which is my shirt one, and then Whimsy and Wonder, which is a 2-day first introduction. I'm very excited about that one. I'm excited about all of them, but I love introducing new ones. And then I've got Stitchy Scroll. So I wanted to, just make sure that I had enough of what I need in any particular pieces. So back to the blanket, one blanket in the whole store. Whereas last time I went, there were maybe across the different vendors, maybe 7 or so. So one. And I didn't buy it because it was dirty. And I don't mind paying decent amount of money, but they've got to be clean. So I think it's a bit rich if You just, obviously they'd picked it up at a thrift store and plonked it with an elevated price in an antique booth. So I left it because I don't have the means, and I didn't really have the inclination to dry clean it. So that's why disappearing breed, even in Australia, our blankets. So treasure them if you've got them. I've got my bazaar coming up next week, so I'm putting together a few little bits for that. Tying some threads. A few people have been in touch, so newsletter is coming out this weekend now that I've got my laptop. What am I doing? Let's talk about stitching. I have now gone around the edge and I'm doing some little seed stitching in amongst these. And I'm just going to say they stand for the yellow rose of Texas beside Wisconsin's story. So I love seed stitch because it just gives you total freedom. And really, it's a running stitch or a straight stitch. Nothing very technical around here. I have just also been organising a very important part of my 2027 calendar. It feels like spring and the time to organise. I talked to Fleur last night and she told me, I was waiting for a calendar, and Fleur told me she'd just gone online and found a free PDF and printed it. That was like, oh my gosh, how clever is that? So I did that this morning. I like to be, what's the word? Analog. Just need to see things laid out and so I can scribble on it. So anyway, as a result of that, patterns and opportunities became more evident. And I'll start sharing that in my newsletter. So there we are, that thread's run out. As I say, let's keep going until the thread runs out. And that was a DMC variegated there. Where did the needle go? It dropped it into my jacket, I think. Yep. Okay, what else has to be done? I want to brighten this up, and I've mentioned embroidering that. I've got this, let's put that the right way so you can get an idea. I'll put something in there. So I have some from Annette, this gifted quilt. I don't think so. I also have this piece. I've got an idea, but I need to change that in there. So leave those opportunity there, here. I want to put something under there. Let me just keep talking to myself. Look in my Texas pouch to see if I've got any fabrics. No, I've taken them all out. Oh look, that's Kelly May Krenz's Swan Sticker Love. with Kiki's washi tape. So nothing in there. That's what, do you do that? I often put things inside my bags and pouches, and then you go, oh, I forgot that. I've got this. Oh, gosh, isn't that cute? Around her cuff. Okay, no, let's go back to actually doing some stitching, maybe here, here. Oh, I know what I want to do with you. That's right. This bit here is a bit, well, it's quite plain because it's the inside of the doily. And I had an idea that I wanted to, I just saw that colour there, got this, I've got red down there, yellow, let's use this one. I might have trouble going through the needle. This is the number 3 pearl thread. And this isn't one of my usual needles. I think this is one of the Amazon ones, which I really like. First attempt, not good. We just go to a bigger eye. Oh. Oh, why is that so stuck in there? That one's not. I mean, can you believe that it's September next week? I keep feeling like I've missed winter at home, which is not a bad thing. So it's like I need to get this jacket out and about a little bit more before she gets to not be worn for a while. Okay, sorry if that's in the way, but I want to go to the 2 of this and start off. I want to go round with my favourite little back stitch. So there you are. I'm just going to start off. And stay very surface level so it doesn't go through. Little stitches. Around the O. Why? I don't know. I just felt like it. Because it's a journal jacket, I'm thinking of writing. I'm using someone else's writing. Never actually got up to showing you my... Oh, I did at the beginning of the Hope tote. Did I tell you Philippa's is absolutely gorgeous? Hello, Philippa. And she wrote out the whole poem. Hope is the thing with feathers. It looks so beautiful. There we go. So I've gone round 2, and then because I'm feeling organic, I've gone around the O. Let's start another little journey. empty. I just had an idea. I could also be going over the letters, couldn't I? So peace, I could actually do in a red or something that really made it stand out. So I have to thank you for being here, because just by saying things out loud to you, I get more ideas. Oh, it's a bit close and a bit dark, but anyway. I mean, should we start that? It's a bit like, sometimes I get a bit wild, and it's like when I put peace, no, what was it? Hope on upside down on the hope tote. And everyone said, well, not everyone, but a lot of people said we held our breath. And we knew that you'd notice, but I didn't at the time. If I was on the plane right now, you would know that I would be using these little stitches for the next 2 hours, because that's where I get most of my little stitching done, as in stitches that are little. I do absolutely love this thread. Sorry, someone did say the other day that there was too much bangles and tins. I'm trying to be more restrained, but I'm just a bit clumsy. And I'm not me without my bangles. There's a lovely person that said that they've been recommended this channel, to help with their mental health and, just being calm and meditative. So welcome, and if only for one stop in, it was lovely to have you here. Someone else thought I was the most boring channel on YouTube, and I thought, well, in a way, that's sort of also good. I'm sorry that they're not finding it exciting, but I want to be peaceful. We just want to just be here for each other, don't we? No dramas. I really like doing that, but I'm going to stop it now. Because I can't help thinking about how I can make peace look bigger and better. So there we are. That's just my little playing. Can you read that it's 2? No, you can't. So that's why I'm stopping. But it was sort of cute to do it. And I've got this left over. I coloured that in there and I really like that. Where can I use this thread? What's that bit there sticking out? Let's do a little flower. Why am I standing up all of a sudden and stitching? Like being at the workshop. Just add a bit of texture over this fabric. And in a way it's going to tie the diagonal. Down there. Doesn't look much like a flower, but we're not literal. I'm getting tempted to go outside. I'm looking at that sunshine and thinking, get out there, Kate, and look at that garden. Look at your weeds. Sit down and have a chat and just be grateful. Grateful for good times, good people, and for all that we have. I'm thinking about those poor people in Nepal. Goodness me, your heart breaks, doesn't it? The mighty, mighty power of nature. That's what I might have said it the other afternoon, but now that I've seen Niagara Falls in the flesh, I will never underestimate the power of water and how much can come at once. When that's not controlled, wow. Okay, there we are. We've just got a few little splotches there. I'll put my needle up there and say thank you for joining me on this little update on the journal jacket. It'll be 2026's version, won't it? I'm really liking the swan and the butterfly and the garden growing around there. Every piece meaningful to me, and the back and the shoulder and the sleeve. There we go. Oh, that's not a bit boring to finish that way. So how about we have a little bit of everything there. I think I do this every time, but I just want you to see the growth as the garden grows. Thank you so much, my friends. I have loved your company this afternoon, and I will see you again soon. Please take care, keep well, keep stitching, and yeah, just take care of you. Bye for now.